Hey y'all, welcome back to Homestead. Let's do a full garden tour today. So this is our poor man's raised bed. He is doing beautifully. I have chives everywhere, calendula, carrots. Then I started mixing everything together. Look how this has come up since the last video that we've done this maybe a week or so ago. I've got calendula mixed in with kale, more calendula, carrots everywhere. I need to thin those out. Radishes in the back. It's a little trap crop. Sunflowers. Beautiful, beautiful. Then I've just got masses of carrots and lettuce. It's just gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And it's right here by the bedroom. It's just, when I open the windows, this is just beautiful smelling. I know it will just get better over time. Wonderful. So there's that. Let's move on down. I've got some, look at that lettuce. So pretty. More chives all in here, if you can see. Looking good, looking good. Now, I've got a lot of sprouts of weeds coming up in here. I've got mimosa everywhere that I need to pull up. And I've got poison oak everywhere. Need to pull it up. So there's one of the tomatoes. One of the original tomatoes back on this side didn't make it. I didn't harden it off. It did not make it. We're going to replant tomorrow. These are sun sugar cherry tomatoes. I've got zinnias everywhere that are getting tall. You can see that little mimosa. Very, very good. I've got all sorts of stuff here. I've got hyssop coming up. I've got a bell pepper. These are the Jahardale pumpkins. Look at those. Indian corn did not do well. I had 2 sprouts come up. That's it. This right here is Clemson spineless okra mixed in with red burgundy okra. They're putting on true leaves. They're doing great. It's been really hot here. And let me show you, if you've never grown red burgundy okra, if I can find one back there, the stems are red. The fruit are red, but the leaves are green. I think it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful ornamental but edible plant. Now here I have borage in between these 2 Jahardales. Another cherry tomato, pumpkin, zinnias. I just wanted it to be pretty. We had one bell pepper that got eaten in here by a pest, and I've got to replant that as well. Borage all along back there. Borage has huge blue blooms, so I think it'll be very pretty. Got a big bell pepper and more pumpkins. Another tomato didn't make it, so that's that for that side along the house. I've got one little fern frond I need to pick up, and now we start coming around the curve. So if you can see, there's the landscape. Guys, I love it. It's blowing any expectation I had. So up here we've got chocolate cherry sunflowers. Got those mixed in everywhere. At the back, I've got zinnias everywhere. And then at this corner of the house where it goes around, I planted the red burgundy okra. So while I'm here, we're going to kind of pick out some of those. It's taken over. But remember, all this was free. This poor man's raised bed. I went to the woods. I scratched around. I brought this stuff up here. So that's to be expected. Once you get it on out of the soil, it'll be fine. More zinnias. The red burgundy okra. I think the height right there will be really good. Got some sunflowers coming up in the back. Then we start kale and lettuce. Now, I had so much more than this right here. But this is right under the roof line on the end of the house where rain will hit the hardest. It's not hurt the rest of the bed at all. But right here, we had a flood last weekend and bad thunderstorm. It took out a lot of my lettuce, but that's okay. This is a shaded spot. I didn't expect it to grow anything. All this is in shade, but look at this. I've got lettuce everywhere, and mixed in with it, I have Clemson spineless okra right here in this dip. And then you turn around and here's the cottage garden. So on the cottage garden, I did not plant strictly flowers. I'm going to explain to you what I did. This right here, this first row, all the way down where it meets the rock, I did zinnias. They're coming up. They're happy. Guys, I planted candy cane. I planted red. I planted Oklahoma mixed colors. I did every kind of zinnia you could imagine. Behind it, last week, I planted mixed color verbena. I think that will be pretty. Back here, we've got bell peppers. I've got lilac. I've got red. Then I've got big bells. And let me show you. I can step over in here and not hurt anything. Look what I saw today. We've got a bell pepper. That little baby. Guys, I'm so excited. Everything's pollinating out here in the front. It just looks beautiful. We finished working on our porch. Everything is just beautiful. So I've got tomatoes here. These are Cadillacing. Now, I fertilized these yesterday. They're doing very, very good. They've got a little sun damage on the bottom, but they're okay. Blooms everywhere. In between the cages, I planted lettuce just to help suppress weeds, and I just figured it would do well. So all these are doing great. At the back here, I planted sunflowers. They're coming up, doing great. All along the porch to help kind of cover it up, and I just wanted some height towards the back. So I'm gonna step out of this bed without hurting anything. Oh. Okay, so we're going down here. There's our zinnias there, and look at that border. It's just, oh, I love it. Right here, I've got echinacea right in the border. We've got that all through there. This is one of our cherry tomatoes, and look what we've got. We've got little tomatoes all over him. I started with alyssum all through here. I planted it. I think it will be beautiful. We've got it everywhere. See, we've got poison oak all through there, all along the rock wall, because I want it to mound over. Now, I've got 3 Long Island cheese pumpkins. I want those to run all through there. Then, I have a row of, right here where I'm pointing, blue Hopi corn. It did not germinate as good as the green Oxacan dent corn. Back here, I've got one piece of cardboard I gotta get up, guys. I've got my 6 tomatoes that I showed you how to plant around a cage. I've got one that's not doing well. I watered him heavily yesterday. I think he'll make it. Cucumbers. That pack of cucumbers that I did on the video did not germinate whatsoever. Jury's still out on that. I don't know what happened. Zucchini, and then our Connecticut field pumpkin. And then, I'll kind of pan out so you can see. There again, there's the landscape. We've got flowers all along the walkway. Now, I did not finish the walkway over here. I left that log. I'm going to work on it this fall. I may just pull him up for the summer. Flowers everywhere. And I'm going to tell you, I got so, both beds, I got so overwhelmed. I just started planting flowers however and wherever. It did not matter to me. I just started slinging packets. We've got our alyssum. We've got more flowers back there. So I'm going to have to wait till they sprout to even tell you what they are, because I can't tell you what I planted. That's terrible, but I was trying so fast to get flowers in the ground before rain one day that I just did. Got some gladiolas at the bottom here that I've had for several years. Then you come up the wall and you're kind of looking back over the cottage garden. And what I did was I did diagonal rows going this way, all the way up of flowers. And on the border, I planted bachelor's buttons all the way up. I think it will be so, so pretty. We painted our steps yesterday, guys. We had a ton of stuff. I did kind of like a little black and white stripe. When I pulled the masking tape up, it pulled off my white paint where I did the black stripes, but I love it. We've got black shutters on the house. We've got white brick. Painted my front door black yesterday. It's so pretty out here. So, so pretty. Back here, I've got sunflowers. We've got all sorts of stuff. Now, on this side, this goes down to our first poor man's raised bed. This is the back of the block wall that I've talked to you guys about. Over here, I planted sunflowers in the corner, and I did diagonal rows going this way. So they both mirror each other all along the walkway. We've got, I can't even tell you, we've got English daisies. We've got foxglove. We've got more alyssum. We've got tons of stuff in this bed. And I've got 2 rosemary bushes down here. And I think it'll all look just beautiful. I've just got to move that log. But guys, I've never been happier with anything than this. So do not think that you have to plant shrubs in landscape. You can do like the Amish and back it on up to your back door, your front door, and plant. So we're going to walk over here. So there's the wall. And then here's my poor man's raised bed. Look at this. He has jumped, leaps, and bounds. Y'all go back and watch the first video. This is my corn. I've got that one gap. I don't know what happened there. 2 different types of corn. One's Indian corn, one's earth tone dent corn. It just didn't sprout right there. I don't know what happened. This is not far from being fertilized. We're at 1, 2, 3, 4. We're at the 4th leaf stage. We want to hit 6. I want to see 6 leaves, and then I'm going to side dress it. I don't know with this if I'm going to do chicken manure or ammonium nitrate. I think I'm going to do chicken manure on this. This is a dent corn, both varieties. I'm going to save it and use it for cornmeal. Then over here we've got all of our tomatoes. If you can see them in here, they're huge, they're blooming. These are all better boys, except at the very bottom I've got a Cherokee purple. I showed you companion planting, intercropping, bush beans all around this tomato plant, kale to help shade. At the bottom I've got carrots to aerate the soil. I'm not after a huge carrot, I'm just after a doggone good tomato plant. And with every bit of help I can get, they're all just blooming berserk. He was my smallest one, and he still is. He's come on, he's doing better, but you can see the ones that I intercrop by and put those bush beans to throw off nitrogen, they're literally 6 inches taller than that one. So it works, it works. What I'm going to do tomorrow is plant more tomatoes in one of my raised beds, and instead of bush beans, I'm going to do field peas for a nitrogen fixer at the bottom of these plants. That's what I'm going to do. Any pea or nitrogen will throw off, or any pea or bean will throw off nitrogen. There's an English pea that was in the bed. I just let him. I let him stay. He's putting nitrogen into that tomato plant there. So back here, I have shown y'all my contender bush beans. For some reason, the past couple of years, every time I plant these, they look burnt, but they come on fine. I don't know what it is. We had very, very sparse germination on the back. I've shown you that we've planted Atlantic giant pumpkins. Those are doing great right there amongst all the contender bush beans. So we'll have a pretty good stand of beans here. And the garden, the more, guys, that you water it and it settles, the better it looks and stuff starts growing in it. It just, the soil starts working. Now I've got some grass in here I've got to pick. Look at that pea on that tomato cage. That's not a bad idea either, guys. It's a nitrogen fixer, and you're beside the tomato plant, and your pea can trellis up the tomato cage. I'm gonna show you something different we're gonna do tomorrow with tomatoes, and I think it's going to be out of this world. So these are all volunteer sunflowers. They are so pretty, so pretty. When I built this bed, I used chicken manure, and I scratched around under the pins, and if you have chickens, you'll know that sunflowers come in their feed. These were in their feed. That was up under the pins where they had dropped some or whatever. So I let them come on up. I can't wait to see. I'm sure they're just plain yellow sunflowers, but I think they'll be great. Now this tomato plant right here is our Cherokee purple. Looks fantastic. Just look at all that. Just fantastic. I harvested off this kale last week and we canned it. That was, well, this week, Friday. So corn looks amazing in this bed. There was a lot of chicken manure down here. It is taller than that at the front. This back here in the chicken manure. Corn is a heavy feeder. Chicken manure is full of, you got it, guys, my favorite plant, anything that throws nitrogen. So I'm gonna walk you over here to the raised beds. We're gonna walk over my garden hose. I have to water everything constantly. So look at this rose bush. This is a knockout rose bush. What I did, let me tell you something. I've never grown English peas. I've always had trouble growing English peas, but this year we hit it out of the park. At the bottom here, I've got weeds everywhere. I've got to get in there, and we've got to prune this rose bush. Look at it, it's just insane. I've got spinach here. This is Bloomsdale longstanding. It gets shade back here behind this, and then I've got lettuce. I don't even know what kind. I just threw lettuce there because I thought it would be good. So we're picking peas. I want you to see how loaded they are. I thought off these pea plants, like, yeah, I'm not gonna get that much. Well, let me tell you something. I was so wrong. It's just crazy. And the temps have been over 80 degrees every day here. You can see they're still setting blooms, still putting on blooms. Look at that. Beautiful. Bees are buzzing, but these are, those are early Alaska, and they get that tall. Now, if you see some bigger ones in there, some bigger peas, that's crossing over from the other side, which were tall telephone. And I also have green arrow peas all in here. This is just the back side of the fence. I've never seen so many peas in my life. This is like rattlesnake pole beans, okay? Look at the garden. I mean, the garden is out of control. So, as you can tell, we have peas, 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 and more peas. I've never seen anything like it. I put chicken manure on this, and I put duck pond water out of a tank, duck stock tank water on these peas twice, and here's the results. Never seen anything like it. This right here is our black-seeded Simpson lettuce. It's holding on, but it's not going to be long before it wants to bolt because it's so tall. So tall. These right here are our Detroit red beets. They're huge. We've got bull's blood at the bottom. Onions are wanting to flower. I don't know how far they're going to make it here. I can barely walk through this, y'all. Look at this. These, let me see if I can find a good one. These are these tall telephone peas. The peas look like marbles. I've never seen anything like it. When I walk by, it's just peas, peas, and at the bottom, peas, peas, peas. Everywhere. This is the Cimarron lettuce. It's huge. It's held on with the heat. I would recommend that with the heat. It's done well. Bull's blood beets, they're not maturing as fast as the Detroit red. They were planted at the same time, but they're just stinking gorgeous. Gorgeous. Onions everywhere. And let's talk about these tomatoes. Y'all, these tomatoes are huge. They were planted as transplants and not hardened off April the 1st. And I want you to see here. We're just about to top the cage. Every one of them. Look at the bottom with the lettuce. I will never plant tomatoes any other way than this. There's not one weed in these, but there's weeds all in my garden. I mean, that's just about pure grass. But there's no weeds up under these tomato plants. This lettuce has shaded it completely. Look at this. It's like carpet. I will never do this any different. So tomorrow, if I'm going to plant field peas around these, I'm going to mix it in with lettuce, okay? The lettuce is going to stay. Because if you grow tomatoes and you grow them in a cage, you know that the one thing you hate is putting your hand down here and having to try to weed out from in between these tomatoes. It's terrible. Now, I've got weeds coming up in between them. I left that blank for a reason because I want to side dress with chicken manure there in between each plant. I will never plant tomatoes any other way than this. Any kind of lettuce. Down here, this is all, I think that's black-seeded Simpson, if I'm not mistaken. I don't even know. I just slung lettuce that day. I am having trouble walking through this garden, y'all. It's just insane. Okay, right there starts different lettuce. And this is Dollar Tree lettuce, head lettuce down here. It's beautiful. There's no weeds. Lettuce around tomato plants suppresses weeds. Look at that. There's a weed on the outside, you can tell there, but not on the inside. So it's a double harvest. You're getting fresh lettuce. It's staying cool from the tomato plant, and I've got the cabbage backed up to it. Those cabbages are going to be there a while. They're red acre. They're nowhere near done, so it's just beneficial. They say don't plant cabbage and tomatoes. Well, you can tell the results. Look at the cabbage plants. It's amazing. It's amazing. All my little tomatoes have blooms. We're getting ready to open. All right, so here's our Savoy cabbage. We've got early Jersey Wakefield. He's almost there. Look at this, Golden Acre. This is, I'm gonna say 3 foot in width from leaf to leaf, and he's been pruned. Got early Jersey Wakefield. Got another Golden Acre. We had a slug problem. When I say a problem, I saw a couple slugs. They're gone, okay? What I did was take pine shavings from our chick brooder. I put it around, and I also harvested, so you can see a paper towel there. I'm just letting this kind of compost. Leaves, the whole 9 yards. I put it around the plants. I've not seen anything else. There's some more bull's blood beets. And you go on down. Look at those cabbages. And the very thing they say don't plant by tomatoes, and it's done beautifully for me. I've got broccoli we're getting ready to pull up, and I have cauliflower. Let me step over in here and show y'all this if you've never seen cauliflower. It says 75 days on the back of the seed packet. This is self-blanching cauliflower. I just noticed this today. We are way past 75 days from transplant, but look here. Look at that. Y'all, it is the most beautiful thing. But it's monster, okay? These plants are monster. The leaves, and these are small compared to this bed over here. Those plants are just ridiculous. I mean, crazy. All right, so let me show you this side of the tomatoes. They're trying to form heads, these red acre. I think it'll be good. I'm gonna let them stay because I want this purple cabbage. And the lettuce is gonna come up. I've got the Cimarron again. It just helps suppress weeds. Okay, we've got another golden acre. Look down here, we've got contender bush beans all around these cabbages. He's ready. He's an early Jersey Wakefield. All three of those are. Look at this. I've got contender bush beans, and I thought, well, this lettuce is going to be done. Well, it's not done. It looks beautiful. This is slow bolt loose leaf lettuce. Does fantastic. I've got some volunteer sunflowers down there. We've got Marvel of Four Seasons head lettuce. So let me tell you, as far as heat tolerant, that's not heat tolerant. It's not. This is the lettuce. It's still beautiful, but it's starting to rot on the bottom. Crisp mint romaine. It looks great on top, but starting to rot on the bottom. We're getting ready to pull this up. If you can see down in there, everything's just wanting to rot. I may have it too thick. I understand that, but we have had a whole, look at this, a whole lot of lettuce. And it's worth a shot to try, you know, just try it. Look at, he's ready. I mean, we've got so much, y'all. I'm gonna try to climb over that cabbage there. So that's this bed. Then we've got onions on the back side and some squash down at the bottom. Here is our no potting mix bed, active compost. So let me kind of zoom out so you can see. Black Magic Kale, we've pruned him last week, Friday. Canned off of him. We've got cabbages ready. Look at the bush beans. Cadillacing. So I have pruned, and today I pulled up my broccoli. What I'm letting it do is sit there and rot. I fed some to the chickens. I put some in here with these shavings. I just put it everywhere. I am going to plant my tomatoes here tomorrow, and we'll have a video coming out on that, and I'll show you about chicken manure. We've got squash everywhere. We've got to get rid of these cabbages tomorrow a good bit. English peas on the side. These did not have a trellis, or a very small trellis. Some did not. They're still growing fine. They're loaded. I never thought the peas would have done this well, but you can see how much room the broccoli freed up. I've got one huge plant left, and that's that. So I'm wanting to phase this garden out into a summer garden. Got our bell pepper at the bottom with more peas. Look at this cauliflower. It's just huge. Here's peas down here. I've just never seen anything like it, ever. Huge blooms everywhere, just gorgeous. And peas are just coming all through the trellis here. They're just loaded. I thought, they're not even staying on the trellis. They're falling off. I've tried tying these up. That's no good. I don't know, guys. I don't know. All right, we're gonna go into depth about this more tomorrow. I planted cucumbers in grow bags to run up this fence here. We're gonna talk about that. We've got some true leaves, and we've got some tomatoes here. We've got one cherry tomato, and I've got 4 very, very close. We've got a video coming out on that very soon. Those are all better boys. All right, guys, I think that's all. Oh, no, one more thing on the garden tour. My husband was out here cutting grass, and I forgot to show you. So in these planters here, I planted pumpkins. They're doing great. No potting mix whatsoever, you can tell. Now, there was some little seed starting cups I had where stuff didn't germinate, so I threw that in there. If you see the perlite, there's that. And then this potting mix bed. This is actual potting mix. This is a potting mix bed. This is one of the first ones I did. So I've got a back row of Indian corn. Looks good. I know you're supposed to plant this in blocks. I think I'll be able to self-pollinate it myself. So I just did 1 row. Got a row of red burgundy okra. It did not want to germinate that well here in the spot for some reason. I've got enough to have a stand, but it just didn't want to be overabundant. And then I've got blue Hubbard squash. This was planted 2 weeks ago. So the corn's doing great. Everything's doing great, guys. These temps are perfect for growing. We're having a ball here at Homestead. We'll see you guys next time.